Good morning or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. Welcome to another episode here on Cruise and Coasters. I'm Jeff, and today we are in Minnesota for the very first time at Valleyfair. This is very exciting because this is the second to last Cedar Fair Legacy Park that I need to visit. The last one is going to be California's Great America. Fingers crossed we get to that at some point in the next year or so. But anyway, back to Valleyfair. Very excited to be here. I'm very excited for Wild Thing, Renegade, and Excalibur is finally reopened post-flood. So the river did kind of flood the park and close a section of rides, but everything is back open and operating as normal. So very excited for that for our visit today. So yeah, let's head on into park number 14 of 22 on this USA Theme Park tour, Valleyfair. This is, like I mentioned, our very first time ever at Valleyfair, and also it's a park that I really didn't watch any vlogs on. There's not a lot of people that have put out a lot of content on Valleyfair, so I actually have literally no clue where we're going, what we're doing, what to expect. All I really know is what I've heard about Wild Thing, which is supposed to be really good. Renegade and Excalibur is supposed to be quite unique as well, but that's kind of it. One tip that I did get from somebody named Carson, he runs a Minnesota Thrills Instagram page. I bumped into him at Lost Island yesterday, is he said to do Psycho Mouse first, which is the Parks Wild Mouse coaster, just because it can get quite a hefty line and has really low capacity. So we're gonna take him up on that advice and do Psycho Mouse first. Okay, I was calling it Psycho Mouse. It's actually called Mad Mouse. I think Psycho Mouse is the one that's at California's Great America, so I just got them a little confused. But it was fun. It's actually an aerodynamics Wild Mouse, which I think I've only ever done one of these before at Michigan's Adventure. It is quite fun. It's quite comfortable and smooth, which I know when you hear aerodynamics, you don't really think of smooth. But it was fun. It was whippy. Had a few moments of pops of airtime as the car maneuvered through the course, some sharp turns. Overall, it was fun. It was cute. Now that we got the Wild Mouse out of the way, we can head to Wild Thing, which is the park's Morgan hypercoaster, 205 feet tall. It looks really impressive. Wild Thing, more like Mild Thing. Let's go what went well on the ride. I think the first drop is really good. We sat in the back row and you do get whipped over the top, which was quite nice. And then there's that change in angle, really high up that kind of throws you out of your seat a second time, which was quite nice. The speed was really, really nice, especially in the, there's a train coming back, especially in the Helix. You really feel a good amount of speed on the ride, which is really enjoyable. And overall, it's quite smooth. There's a couple of janky transitions, but overall it's quite smooth. Other than that, the airtime was really non-existent for me. Maybe I just need some time to warm up. Maybe we'll come back to it later today. But yeah, I think good speed, pretty decently smooth, nice length of a ride, but overall, the forces were just kind of not there for me. It was okay. It was all right. We came to the other side of the park to hopefully get a ride on Steel Venom. We haven't seen it go, but there are people on it, so we're optimistic that it is running. So yeah, Steel Venom is their impulse inverted coaster. This is the third one of the trip that we're doing. They're really, really fun rides. just did Steel Venom, which rode very similar to the Flash Vertical Velocity at Great America and Possessed at Dorney Park. However, we were in for a little bit of a surprise. We didn't get to see the ride run really at all, the back spike, and the holding brake was working. That was phenomenal. It is so fun. We were like so high up, facing straight down, and the train just comes to a complete stop, which is absolutely insane. That was so much fun. These rides are so great. I am so sad that they're starting to go away because they do provide a lot of good force, some weightlessness. They are intense rides for as small as they are. I would love to see Intamin kind of give this like a refresh. I think there is one maybe in China that runs on LSMs and the newer trains. I bet you that is absolutely phenomenal. I would love to see that make its way to the States. All right, well, finding Excalibur has certainly been a mission, and we were finally successful. I don't know how anyone finds it back here in the park. But yeah, very, very excited that this is reopened and that we get to experience it. It looks like a very odd and interesting Aero mine train. Was no one gonna tell me how amazing Excalibur is? That was unhinged. That was actually insane. That has by far been my favorite coaster of the day here at Valleyfair. That was so much fun. The first drop offered a lot of whip. We were in the back row and we got like flung out of our seats halfway down, which was super fun. And then there was an airtime hill that, like, with that little tiny bar, it's very similar to the lap bar on Magnum or Gemini. I think it's the same cars. Insane ejector airtime in the back row, which was absolutely phenomenal. And then there's another airtime hill where we got like some floater airtime, which was really, really fun. Some really good laterals, some positive G-forces on there as well. That was phenomenal. It is short, but there's no line. You can just go around over and over again. I'll go on and on about Aero. They're like one of my favorite manufacturers, and they killed it with Excalibur. This is so fun. I'm so glad it was open. We do have a bit of rain coming into the area now, so I think we're gonna try to get on Renegade just in case it floods again, and then do some lunch while it rains, and then we can go around and do more rides and re-rides the one that we loved. Renegade Smokehouse for lunch. Actually, that's a lie. We first went to Loon's Cafe, I think it was called, but they didn't have any indoor seating, and we got an alert that it was about to rain and storm probably for like the next hour to 2 hours, and we wanted indoor seating, so we came back to the Renegade Smokehouse, and oh, there it is. I thought it would be a fun time to talk a little bit about Renegade since we just got off of that, the last thing we did in the vlog. Renegade was good, it was fine. I think it was a little overhyped for me. I know a lot of people said it was one of their favorites here. I think I prefer Excalibur to it, to be really honest. It was good. It was kind of like a weird mix of like Mystic Timbers and Thunderhead, but in my opinion, I don't know, maybe if it was the flood and like the water damage, I think it needs a little bit of a retrack. I think the first drop was really, really fun. It was like an S-curved drop. It was really, really nice. And then I remember the first tail gave some really good floater airtime. The rest of it kind of just shuffled left to right and was quite uncomfortable for me, at least. There was like fun moments of like airtime pops, kind of like the traditional GCI like pops of airtime that you get as you go into the different transitions. But for me, again, it was just really too shuffly left to right to really, really enjoy it. I will try it again in the back row, see if it's any better, any different. But for Renegade, it was okay. It was fine. Okay, to be honest with you guys, I did go a little basic here. I went with chicken tenders, and it came with kettle chips, and it also came with a little macaroni salad, so that looks tasty. And then they also have a selection of barbecue sauces to use. Did I do Cosmic Coaster for the credit? Yes. Yes, I did. Also, we have some really spooky looking skies. I don't know if it's coming up in the camera, but it's been looking really spooky for the last couple of hours, but the rides are still running. We're still having a great time here at Valleyfair. I said that, and as we walked up to High Roller, like not more than 30 seconds after I recorded that clip, we are now in a lightning delay. There is lightning within 10 miles, so unfortunately, all the coasters have closed. We're gonna find some other stuff to do, maybe do a little shopping. I guess a little bit of a vlog update for you guys. After lunch, we had quite a bit of a lightning delay, about an hour long, and we finally got to Corkscrew because it reopened. We were next to ride, and it's been down again for about 45 more minutes. It does look like they're finally getting ready to test it and reopen it, so fingers crossed we get on these rides soon. But yeah, we've been doing a whole lot of nothing for about two and a half hours, kind of just waiting for the weather to pass. So we're hoping rides will open up soon. We'll see. Okay, like 5 minutes after that, we finally got on Corkscrew after that crazy weather delay. And honestly, this is like one of the smoothest and most enjoyable corkscrew model coasters I've ridden by Aero. This park clearly does a really nice job maintaining their rides and attractions. Keep running them at peak maintenance because Excalibur was great, Mad Mouse was fantastic, and this as an Aero was really great. So yeah, on to the last coaster we need is High Roller. I think we're gonna try to get that before any more lightning moves into the area because it does look like it's gonna be on and off thunderstorms the rest of the afternoon. Okay, those of you who told me so much about Renegade, where was your enthusiasm for High Roller? Because let me tell you, there was more airtime on High Roller than there was on Wild Thing, and it was smoother and way more enjoyable than Renegade. Y'all are sleeping on High Roller. We rode in the front seat and we had so much like Flowjector airtime. It was super smooth, but still had like that bumpy charisma that you love about a wooden roller coaster. And it isn't Planet Snoopy, but don't let that fool you. She's fun, she's energetic, she's chaotic, she's great. High Roller has probably been my second favorite coaster today, probably after Excalibur. I don't know if that's a hot take. Excalibur has definitely been my favorite, then High Roller, then probably Renegade after that. But man, don't sleep on High Roller. She was incredible. We did North Star, which is like the park sky screamer here. And as we were taking off and lifting up for the first time, it just bucketed down rain long enough for our cycle, and we got back down. And now it's like sunny and normal, but man, that was a horrific water ride. Okay, earlier I was a little harsh on Wild Thing in the back row, first thing in the morning. She really wasn't giving much of anything. We did closer to the front. It's around 6 p.m. It's much warmer. It is definitely much more of a front row coaster to me than the back row. The first half is really, really good. Got some really good floater airtime, some really good positive Gs, and really fun laterals in that turnaround. The second half still just doesn't do it for me. There's just really not much going on. She doesn't really give you much of anything. It's like barely floater airtime for me. I think the trims are just kicking on too strong so that you don't really get any of that like fun floaty airtime at the end. All right, suggested by Minnesota Thrills, I came to the Lucky Loon and I got a piece of fried fish with the mac and cheese. He said the mac and cheese is supposed to be really good, so we're gonna see how this is. Dinner was actually really delicious. Much better, I think, than our lunch, like a much better value. The fish was really, really good. It wasn't overly fishy at all. It was a nice hearty piece of fish. Really enjoyed that it came with a piece of lemon to squeeze over it, made it taste really fresh. I do think you can tell it's been sitting there for a little bit of time, but overall still really good. The hit though was that mac and cheese was absolutely fantastic. For theme park mac and cheese, they hit the nail on the head. It was absolutely delicious. Now, to finish up our evening at Valleyfair, we're gonna do re-rides on two of our attractions that we still wanna do, which is Excalibur and Renegade. Those are the last two re-rides we wanna do for the night, and then maybe a little shopping, and then back on the road for Adventureland tomorrow. We did a second ride on Renegade in the back row to see if it could redeem anything, kind of like Wild Thing did. People actually liked it. That was horrific. I actually hated it. I very rarely don't enjoy rides, but this one just did not do it for me. The back row was rough and uncomfortable. The airtime was mediocre at best. She doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities. This one really needs a retrack significantly. This reminds me a lot of how Thunderhead was running before they retracked it. And when they did the retrack, it was amazing. So I'm hoping that if they retrack it, I'll come back and visit and maybe fall in love with it. But the way that it is right now, no, I hated it. Did the last ride of the night on Excalibur, and this was the absolute highlight of my day here at Valleyfair. I didn't know what to expect, and it's absolutely insane, unhinged. It's like Sky Rush and Magnum had like a baby. The girls that get it, they get it. It's the gem of the park. Everything else has been okay. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the 14th park on our 22 park journey across the USA. Tomorrow we are heading to Adventureland back in Iowa, which has been exciting. So thoughts on Valleyfair? I thought it's absolutely beautiful park. Cedar Fair has taken really good care of this park, and I've really enjoyed it. Some really good attractions. I do think they're missing like one big standout coaster. I think something like a B&M invert like Banshee would do really well here. A dive coaster like Iron Menace would do phenomenal. Maybe a multi-launcher by Vekoma, that would be great. I think the park could use a good multi-launch coaster. That would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I would really love to see like a standout wow coaster come to the park and put them on the map, because it is a beautiful park, super friendly operations. I've really enjoyed my time here, but it will take, I think, like a significant investment to get me back because of how out of the way it is. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching the 14th park of the trip. Number 15 tomorrow at Adventureland in Iowa. Hit like to fight the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you guys want to see the rest of the tour. Keep cruising and coasting. I'll see you guys at Adventureland. Bye.